What a grand and glorious morning, ladies and gentlemen. Q4 is setting to be absolutely parabolic. We have the data. Forbes digital asset states the institutions are coming with $35 trillion US collapse predicted to trigger a Bitcoin boom price to rival that of gold. 58K is the new 9K for Bitcoin, according to Samson Mow, a major bank in Australia. It went down yesterday. Bitcoin, it never goes down. Elizabeth Warren got community noted so hard. Q4 is looking so bullish. Jay Powell will be at Jackson Hole speaking tomorrow. Right, Bitcoin miners set to take over Bit Farms with a very hostile bid. Let's kick it off with Rich Dad. Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. How much is a trillion? A trillion seconds was 31,688 years ago. It's a long time. America goes $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. Now do you know why you must buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin? Elizabeth Warren, before we dive into this $35 trillion collapse, it's outrageous that billionaires pay less taxes than public school teachers. It's time that we make the wealthy pay their fair share. My ultra-millionaire tax would do just that. The community note. The learned senator confuses tax rates with tax amounts and income tax with capital gains tax. Further context. The majority of a wealthy person's worth is in investments and assets like stocks or real estate. These things aren't taxed until they're sold. This is called unrealized capital gains. Now do you know why they want to put in that unrealized capital gains tax? They also use charitable donations to offset anything they would have to pay. Now the institutions, they are coming. $35 trillion US collapse predicted to trigger a Bitcoin price boom to rival that of gold. The Bitcoin price, it has dropped back from its all-time high of over $70,000, which was set in March. Feels like eons ago, hey? As fair mount over the US spiraling $35 trillion debt pile, and billionaire Elon Musk warns of US dollar destruction that could bankrupt the country. Now, after former President Donald Trump floated a radical plan to wipe out the US debt, the US dollar has hit its lowest level since the start of the year, sparking fears of further collapse and potentially feeding a Bitcoin price boom. This is according to Forbes digital assets. Let's go. Take the hopium any day. Bitcoin became $1 trillion asset during a period in which the dollar was exceptionally strong. This is Zach Pandal. He's the managing director of research at Bitcoin and crypto asset manager Grayscale. Do you know what's going to happen to this asset? It's going on the moon. When we have a period of sustained dollar depreciation, Pandal asks, suggesting the Bitcoin price will surge. Couple more things. The dollar's decline in recent months came as investors are waiting for the Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell to signal the Fed will cut interest rates next month during his closely watched speak at Jackson Hole Economic Symposium meeting on central bankers on Friday. That is happening tomorrow. The market is looking for a soft economic landing and Fed rate cuts, which is negative for the dollar. Endorses, head of the G10 foreign exchange strategy at Bank of America, told the Financial Times, adding the dollar is still overvalued. All fiat is overvalued, in my opinion. But alongside expected weakness for the US dollar, traders are also betting on continued US spending. No kidding there. That will push up the $35 trillion debt pile. This regardless whether it's former President and Republican candidate Donald Trump, if he takes the White House in November, or if you get Kamala Harris, if she wins it for the Democratic Party. Whatever you do, please do not vote for Harris. So dystopian. You've got Elizabeth Warren behind her with those insane wealth taxes. Not good for anyone at all. They start at the top and they just flow downhill. Not good, just on that alone. But as the market comes to grips with whatever candidate wins, we're in for 4 more years of reckless fiscal policy. Okay. I think we're in for a lifetime of reckless fiscal policy. But VanEck's head of crypto market research, Matthew Signal, told CNBC, the history is that Bitcoin really hits its stride at this point, so we're buyers here. We think it recovers. And it has. Here's everything to expect from a Fed Chair Powell's speech Friday in Jackson Hole. Fed Chair Jerome Powell will deliver a speech 10 a.m. ET from the central bank's annual conclave in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. For all the attention being paid to the presentation, the chance of it containing any startling news seems remote. In previous years, Powell has used Jackson Hole's speech to outline broad policy initiatives and to provide clues about the future of policy. For all the attention that's being paid to Jay Powell's policy speech Friday. No startling news. After all, the market has its mind up. The Fed is going to start cutting rates in September and will likely keep cutting throughout the end of the year into 2025. Now, do we get a 25 basis point or a 50 basis point rate cut? That's to be decided. The market has priced it in at 100% at this stage. With rate cuts, according to Lynn Alden, the Fed normally cuts rates near all-time highs for stocks and houses. Over 30 years, there's a kind of mixed signals for what happens next. With a low sample size, historically, stocks did poorly in the near term, with 2 out of 3 times houses did fine in the near term. If they cut rates, and it very much looks like they will, expect another red day, another buy day, and we'll see if it happens. If it happens, it won't last very long. Loose monetary policy, it's going to send Bitcoin parabolic in Q4 according to historical price data. So Q4, it could be a blockbuster moment for Bitcoin prices. A multi-year historical price trend holds up. They've got a couple of things here. I've got an extra thing that I believe they've missed out as well. And just real quick, shout out to everyone watching live or watching the replay. I've got a couple of comments to be able to catch up on, and we'll have a little bit of a banter right at the end. But shout out to Earthbum Spranza there, making it to the live show. Good to see you this morning. What a glorious day it is. And how good is it that we're at Bitcoin? In Bitcoin, it's only 60,679, and we can still exchange our dirty fiat dollars for the world's hardest money. It's a good day every day. Bitcoin, 60,326, had a good start to 2024, rising over 40% year to date. Absolutely extraordinary. Like 4 years in the stock market. This was fueled by a number of positive fundamental factors, including the launch of the spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US and the halving event, which reduced the amount of Bitcoin awarded to miners by 50%. Let us know, were you here for the halving event, or how new are you to Bitcoin? If you are very new, please read the books, get as much as possible, hold on for dear life. This thing is going up and to the right forever over time. But we have days where it will drop $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. We had one of those a week and a half ago. Be prepared for that psychologically. Get ready for the down days, and then you'll be rewarded with the up days. But unlike previous cycles, Bitcoin's price had hit a new all-time high before the halving, leading many analysts to predict a super cycle within the current halving year. Data from CoinGlass reveals that Bitcoin has always had positive returns in Q4 during halving years, posting 58% and 168% gains in 2016, 2020, respectively. Not really a lot of data to go on, is it? And all these models and stuff, that's why I think they're broken. We've only got 15 years of history. It's very little. But moreover, Bitcoin's price has posted positive returns in 8 out of the 11 years between 2013 and 2023, with average gains of 88%. It's a real cool chart. If you've got a little bit of time, this is on Cointelegraph today. I'd urge everyone to check it out and just see how often Bitcoin goes green. So these red days, like today, it's the same thing. It's the micro of the macro. Go on the red, enjoy the greens. Even if you're enjoying the greens over time, it still adds up and you're going to do better off. But if history is any guide, there is a 73% chance that Bitcoin will rally in the fourth quarter of 2024. Again, small data to be able to go on. But in the last Bitcoin halving cycle, the bull market really began in Q4. Whales won't let Q4 be boring with a flat year-over-year performance, and they are accumulating like crazy. According to Jew, Bitcoin's price is in an accumulation phase, suggesting it could possibly initiate a parabolic uptrend once it enters the last quarter of 2024. I expect us to get some pretty big moves. Bitcoin will be what Bitcoin will be. We'll get into the 58K gang shortly. But for the 11th millionth time, D-Wolf BTC, shout out to you, brother. Just accept the new system already. Bitcoin can't go down. Fiat can. End of story. NAB, one of our top 4 major banks here in Australia, their mobile app and online banking outages affect thousands of Australians. This happened yesterday. Internet banking outage. Customers at one of Australia's big 4 banks have been left frustrated after an outage, had them struggling to access internet and mobile banking. We're sorry for any inconvenience. Of course they are. This is causing our customers. Our tech team is currently investigating, and working to fix this as soon as possible. It was out for about 2 hours. We are continuing to keep our customers updated. Main point here, this is the second time NAB has been forced to apologize for an outage in as many months. In 2 months, it's gone out twice. Bitcoin has never gone down. It's been up for like 99.9998% uptime. In July, its internet and mobile banking service went down for hours after technical issues. Are they planning something? Are they testing the system more and more coming up? Who knows? There's been a lot of cyber attacks, a lot of cyber issues, but Bitcoin works. Fiat is failing. Just move. Bitcoin has processed $36.6 trillion at transactions in 2023. That's more than double MasterCard plus Visa combined. And its final settlement. That's the power of Bitcoin. And this would not be included, in my belief, the Lightning Network, which is more of a spending account. Another reason, before we get back to Bitcoin, the fiat system, it's totally fried and it is going down in purchasing power forever. That's why I'm into hard assets, the hardest asset, which is Bitcoin. But Mark here, are you kidding me? She's the Secretary of Commerce. It's only 15 seconds, but what this lady has to say, and people in power, crazy.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
When you
Can I play it one more time? How good is it? I don't believe anything Donald Trump says. It is from the Bureau of Labor.
hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar.
I love it. Totally owned, hey. And these are the people in power. The whole fiat system, it's an absolute clown world. It's a circus. Just opt out, buy Bitcoin, enjoy it, stack it. We got a nice 69 this morning. What a way to start the day. Absolutely crazy. If anyone's watching on X, can you let us know? But if you repost this video, if you repost the tweet, I will start following you after the show as well. I'd like to see the reach there on X. It's nice being able to go live on X and YouTube. Now, Mark Harvey, Bitcoin Maxi is replacing billionaire. Welcome the Bitcoin Maxis in the chat. You are the new billionaires as a provocative term for people who made a smart economic decision and benefited financially from it. In this case, the smart decision is to go all in on Bitcoin with minimal diversification into other assets. It's your money. It's your choice. It's not financial advice. You do you. I'll do me. But Mark Harvey on point. And being labeled a billionaire, being bad, stuff the haters. I'm happy to be a Bitcoin Maxi. The people that criticize really haven't done anything great in their life. If you are a Bitcoin Maxi, if you need any help, if you're just learning about Bitcoin, if you need some education, the channel partner, the Bitcoin Way, 25 years cybersecurity experience. Working with them, the first 30 minutes is free. You can have an initial consultation. Number one, they can help you secure your Bitcoin in self-custody. There is nothing more important than getting your Bitcoin off the exchange, running an air-gapped wallet, not Ledger or Trezor. They're not really good out there. They've censored transactions. They've had all their user data leaked, home address, name. That was with Ledger. And then putting things where they can retrieve the keys. Not really into that myself personally. So if you're using any of those tools, you just need help with anything, the Bitcoin Way can help you. They can also help you run your own node. And I'll show you something real quick, only because it's unplugged. That is a Bitcoin node. They're pretty basic, but this allows you to be a sovereign individual, to have a Swiss bank account in your pocket. I chose to build this one myself, only unplugged because we are in a different studio for the next couple of days as I rip the roof down. Please run a node. Please get your Bitcoin off the exchange. Please run an air-gapped wallet. If you need help, the Bitcoin Way in the first 30 minutes is free. Samson Mow, 58K gang, shout out to you. You will never leave me alone, ever. But is 58K the new 9K for Bitcoin? So Samson Mow recently stirred discussion on X by declaring 58 as the new 9 for Bitcoin. Intrigued by this bold statement, we decided to put Mow's theory to the test by examining Bitcoin's trading patterns, and especially in light of its historical price behavior. So, since it reached its all-time high of approximately 73k in March, Bitcoin hasn't seen much volatility, dipping to around 49,000 on August 5. Love it when Bitcoiners are talking about volatility like, it's not much. Even today, stocks are having a bad day. It's just another day in Bitcoin, but from 73 down to 49, it's not much volatility. They've been here for a while. They're used to it. Anyway, coincidentally, this was roughly the same price as when the Bitcoin ETF launched in January. I found that quite interesting, the 49k level. They got the parabola up into the right, and I think we're just getting started long term. I'm here for a long time and a good time, not just a good time. We rigorously analyze these trends using roughly a 12% price range. Because Bitcoin's not that volatile, we'll use 12% price range. I love it. This approach allows for a fair comparison across different price levels by maintaining a consistent percentage range rather than a fixed dollar amount. Our findings, they're pretty interesting, revealed that Bitcoin spent 183 days in the range of 8,860 to 9,968, and 160 days between 7,875 and 8,859. The glory days, and we're here right now. You're here for the same thing. You just need to zoom out, have a little bit of time. I know it's scary. We'll dive into people getting freaked out, selling all their Bitcoin, just getting out of the space. The market's designed to shake people out. But currently, Bitcoin spent 133 days trading between $58K and $65,000. That number, $58,000, they're insane. With 50 days until October 9, the start of the fourth quarter, a traditionally bullish period for Bitcoin, market observers are keen to see if history will repeat itself and validate Mow's assertion. If you have no idea why 58K is a big level, there's this group on X, and they're absolutely psychopathic. When you think Bitcoin maxis are psychopathic, the 58K Bitcoin maxi gang, they're absolutely like next level on the scale with that. And they just meme about 58K nonstop, and it just keeps going back there because their force is strong. I think they've maybe got about 50 days left. October, 50 days until the start of the fourth quarter. Traditionally bullish period for Bitcoin. Market observers are keen to see if history will repeat. I'll just show you a couple of them, highlight them. Lower bound 8,800. We've got the upper bound here, 9,900. Days in the range, 1,883. 1,000, that would have been nice. They would still be there. Similar, 7,800, 8,800, and then if we come down 58K to 65, 133, maybe we get another 50 days. I highly doubt it. Maybe we drop back down when they cut rates to 58K, and then we pump and start moving for the cycle. We will see. Right, mining, they're not playing nice. Bitcoiners, they want the Bitcoin. Mining is a very cutthroat business to be in, and they are going in with hostile force. They're getting close to taking over Bitfarms. So, right, they own almost 20% of Bitfarms now and successfully ousting key leaders from the efficient Canadian miner. I wonder what their reasoning was. Were those people hopeless, or they're just looking for someone a little bit more favorable? My guess would be the latter. But the third largest Bitcoin mining firm on Wall Street is quietly tightening its grip on Bitfarms, a smaller Canadian competitor, through a hostile takeover bid. As of August 13, Riot increased its stake in Bitfarms to 19%, well done, disclosing its purchase of 1 million more BITF shares. That same day, Bitfarms announced the departure of its co-founder and chair, Nicholas Bonta, who Riot publicly targeted for a replacement in late June, ousted. At the time, Riot called for a special shareholder meeting now slated for October 29 to let shareholders vote in removing Bonta and 2 other board members to be replaced with independent, highly qualified individuals selected by Riot. He who has the gold makes the rules, hey? Both measures to tip the balance of power against Bitfarms' leadership, with Riot accused of poor corporate governance. In June, Bitfarms refused Riot's $950 million acquisition. $950 million. acquisition offer in April. People still think Bitcoin's a scam, and then you have companies investing such large amounts. Maybe it's something to pay attention to. Early in the process of right up in its stake, Bitfarms attempted to adopt a poison pill. Wowee, how nasty. Strategies to defend itself. The art of war. The poison pill is when the company dilutes the shares of an aggressor party if that party acquires an overly large stake in the firm. In this case, 15%. Right? However, they weren't playing ball. They challenged this move and appealed to the Ontario Capital Market Tribunal, which ruled against Bitfarms' poison pill and effectively terminated it. They terminated the poison pill. This is the first instance of a high-profile, hostile takeover attempt within the industry. I think we're going to see more of that. Nishant Sharma, founder of Bloxbridge Consultation and Communication Research firm for the mining industry, told Decrypt, the intensity of this battle, it highlights the increasing competition and consolidation happening as companies vie for a greater share of the ever-decreasing Bitcoin mining rewards. Wonder how it plays out. I don't know if they're still going to be having beers and barbecue and talking about sport after that together. Real quick, Dasby, co-author of Beers for Bitcoin. Dear Australian wage earners, if you're in a Western country, it's pretty much the same, just to a higher or lower degree. But your government, in conjunction with your Reserve Bank and the banking sector, increase the M2 money supply from 11,548 million to 2 MN. I don't know what MN is. Million, maybe, from 1965 to 2024. Point of it is, even though I'm tripping up on the numbers on this glorious day, this is a compounded increase of 9.15% annually. Why couldn't you write billion or trillion, Daz? We're here in Australia. MN. This, dear reader, is one of the main causes of inflation, increased prices. When we increase the number of currency units competing for finite resources, price go up, NGU. The question you need to ask is, did your wages keep up with the 9% increase in currency units? Unless you're working for yourself and giving yourself a pay rise or you're consulting, I highly doubt it. If not, your only choice is to park your value in scarce assets. Even if you gave yourself a pay rise, probably worth doing that as well. But the question you need now to ask yourself is, we've got this incredible video from the Bank of International Settlements coming up. It's insane. He's saying the quiet part out loud, how dystopian CBDCs are. He says we want to control people, pretty much. Paraphrasing. I'll play the video. We got the receipt. Anyway, sidelined. The question you need to ask yourself now is, are those assets at fair value to the underlying worth of utility, or have they attracted a monetary premium because everyone is trying to jump off this ship, which is happening with real estate here in Australia with the property Ponzi scheme? Did they rush to safety? Did this rush to safety overinflate the price of these assets artificially? What are they actually worth? The next question you should ask yourself, what if there were a money that was finite in supply? We do have that. That is Bitcoin, a money controlled by no one, but enforced by everyone. A money that's only function was to act as money. Thankfully, it was designed and engineered to be the best form of money humanity has ever known. Something that you could hold where we don't have time. Where we didn't have time worry about earn and report corporate debt levels or interest rates, something that allowed you to increase your purchasing power over time without a deep understanding of financial markets or macroeconomic issues, a monetary good that meant you didn't have to take on debt and get in an over-leveraged position. Couple more things here. Something that at its fundamental level is actually immune to economic recessions. If you are suffering inflation, your wage has increased 9% per year for the past 60 years, you need an alternative option. You have the ability to opt out. You can opt out anytime you like. You owe it to yourself. That's why I use Bitcoin as my monetary good. Augustine. This guy is interesting, to say the least. Zig in the house, stirring me up. Boris has been put into the corner. But if you can smash the like button while Augustine is talking, just dystopian drivel.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is. Our analysis on CBDC in particular.
It's so dystopian. It's so scary. They literally just want to control every part of our lives. When people like this have all the money in the world, when they are literally the bank for international settlements, what else are they after? Control of the population. They want souls under their belt. Don't give it to them. We can opt out with Bitcoin. You don't need to be subject to the tyranny of CBDCs. Just have a look what's going on with China with them and their social credit scores. And Jabba the Hutt, Star Wars, according to Zig64. Bitcoin price, let's hit a little bit of a refresh. It has gone up a little bit since then. 60,600 and 60,567. A low? Well, I'm surprised it wasn't $58,000. 58K gang, what's going on, man? 59,900 on the dot was the low, and 61,509 is the high in the last 24 hours. So we're about $1,000 down, sort of sitting in the middle. $3,000, $2,000 price discrepancy. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's amazing. 1%, 2%, 10%, 15% is not even volatile. I love it. When we get up to like the 35%, yeah, that's when the days get a little bit shaky, and they're coming. But block height, 857,976. I do see a question there as why did the fees spike earlier? I'll jump into that in 2 secs. There's just degeneracy going on, and I'd probably urge people just not to gamble. It's probably the next rug pull. Anyway, sats per USD, 1,650. Up the tiniest bit from yesterday, but it's a bloody good deal. We have the red buy button today. Last block, nearly 20 minutes ago. Average block time, 35 blocks too fast, 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Previous adjustment was down. Public reachable nodes, 19,491. Please just run one. They're not hard. They're pretty cheap. Make sure you get a 2 terabyte SSD and have fun. It's a little bit of a project, and you become self-sovereign, and it secures the network. We don't need banks in the way, but we do need to have more and more public reachable nodes. Bitcoin, I'm just going to repost this, but a lot of work goes into peer reviewing papers. There is one on Bitcoin. And while it's nice just to opt out of clown world, it is a lawfare society. There's regulation. And for anything to change, they want the data. It needs to be peer reviewed to be able to get up, to be accepted. That's the game they're playing. So going to all that effort where we already know the facts, but we need to do it in that manner. Huge amount of work. So shout out Murray A. Rudd for getting that peer-reviewed paper out for the Bitcoin community. I haven't read it all yet, but massive amounts of work going to peer-reviewed journal articles, and very, very helpful when talking with bureaucrats and kleptocrats. I bring this up because people are getting shaken out. Flying Raven, hang in there with Bitcoin. There's an old saying, the market is more likely to wear you out than scare you out. The whole point of this channel, whether it's red, whether it's green, whether it's grey, which is the sideways action, or we've been sideways for the last 6 months, is just buy, stack, and chill. It's super easy. We don't need to trade. We don't need to be a degen in any way. Don't get shaken out. Stay liquid, people. I just sold my 1 Bitcoin that I purchased in 2020. I'm hopeless. My family and I are going through a really hard time. I was planning on selling at 95K. I didn't make it. I just sold my full coin. I'm super depressed. I'll start DCAing back into the market when I can. Best of luck to all the holders. I hope to rejoin the 1 million Bitcoin club in the coming years. probably pretty unlikely. Hopefully you do. But Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin is the next evolution of politics and citizenships. Can't wait to read the history books in 2050. Reading that made me feel so sad. They've obviously put in more than they can afford to lose. They didn't have a side pot, but to have to sell a whole Bitcoin now, hopefully something didn't go completely wrong in their life, and maybe it did, and Bitcoin was there as a savior, but it is very unlikely that they're going to get a whole Bitcoin back. And this is what the early signs of chop capitulation look like. We're getting close, and we are getting very, very close. Even if we get 1 or 2 more dips, even if we get another 10 dips between now and the end of the year, the trend is starting to move, and we've been consolidating for a long time. It's slowly and then suddenly. But Fred Wick, I can't take it anymore. So close to closing out everything and never checking another chart. A lot of the sediment there is on X. A lot of people getting shaken out. Please don't. You're so close to the goals. And just in your mind, just think, I'm here for 5 years, 10 years, and what's happening day to day doesn't really matter. Bitcoin is shifting the Overton window. What Nayib Bukele is doing in El Salvador is pretty interesting. It's very unique. It's sort of the first time in the world to instruct public servants on Bitcoin and blockchain, giving them higher education, is investing. El Salvador is investing to educate its public servants on Bitcoin and its operation. This is going to set them up for life. The Bitcoin Office of El Salvador, an institution created to oversee all projects related to Bitcoin, recently disclosed that 80,000 public servants of the country will receive Bitcoin instruction knowledge certification via a module part of the public admin curriculum imparted by the High School of Innovation and Public Administration. What a tongue twister. Nayib Bukele, President Nayib Bukele, created ESIOP. Sounds like PSYOP. In August 2021. It's the ESIOP. As the institution in charge of strengthening public administration through the implementation of train research programs aimed at all civil servants and public officials nationwide. Shout out to Stacey Herbert. I know she had a big part to play in that. Well done to her. In regards to why the fees spiked on Bitcoin earlier on chain, there is this, I don't know, protocol. I don't know if it's a blockchain. I think it's a scam personally, but people are locking up their Bitcoin and believe they're wrapping their Bitcoin and they're getting a yield on it. You know, it's another rug pull. It's going to happen most likely. I will bring up, I've got a couple more articles to get through, and then I'll bring up Adam Back's reply. I can't remember who posted it. Adam Back, let's go. But he is talking about it as well. Replies. I'll come back to that and see if we can find a little bit more context in it. With people getting shaken out, I understand. Getting to 1 Bitcoin is hard. Staying broke is hard. Choose your hard. Jessica Haley. I read a book that said marriage is hard, divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Obesity is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Starting a business is hard. Working a 9-to-5 job is hard. Please choose your hard. Life, it will never be easy, but you can choose your hard. Choose wisely. Are you putting in the proof work? You're reading the books. Are you getting as much Bitcoin as you can? Or are you going the easy route? Staying poor. It will also be hard. Luke Mikic on the power law. And Giovanni is a nice guy. Great. Everyone that's been here in Bitcoin for a long time that understands Bitcoin, that doesn't have that Fiat mind virus, says don't trade on the power law. It's super useful up and to the right. And I'm just talking to the majority of people, 90% of people. If you're a math whiz, maybe it's absolutely amazing. I'm not that smart. I don't have the intelligence, the IQ to be able to understand it, to be able to time the tops and bottoms. And I dare say most people don't. But if you want to play games, play games. But Luke Mikic, the people who truly understand Bitcoin are those with enough hubris to admit it's a complex system that can't be modeled or worse predicted. Bitcoin is a phase shift that for the first time in thousands of years moves the world toward meritocracy. Your fiat credentials are worthless on a Bitcoin standard. It's a little bit antagonistic here. But Giovanni, the hubris is on your side, not wanting to understand Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin, but you refute to understand. Like, try time that. I don't know, best of luck. The model's super useful because it goes up and to the right. The charts are super useful because they go up and to the right. The average person, maybe not. You know, Adam Back has chimed in on that. I believe Samson Mow has as well. People that have been around for a while. Buy Bitcoin, stack Bitcoin, add value, and don't trade it. Let's see if I can find this one here from Adam Back. Here we go. Stephen Lubke, this is where it came from. Apparently, people are locking up Bitcoin in some new model to provide security POS chains and ultimately in the future receive part of their rewards. So interesting. I'll read what Stephen says. Literally zero knowledge of this, but would be hilarious if the other blockchains had to rely on Bitcoin for security. Isn't that amazing? To me, it sounds like a honeypot. They're pulling the Bitcoin in, saying Bitcoin's going to secure the network on a proof of stake model, and then it ends in a rug pull. So Babylon has started its Bitcoin staking. Maybe it's legit. I don't know. 11 times out of 10, it's not crazy. But where does the yield come from? It's most likely going to end in a rug. These things happen over and over again. It's the same thing as leaving your Bitcoin on the exchange. Please, just don't do it. Or if you do it, it's your money too. Do what you want. But just believe that you're going to lose it. And if you're happy losing it, have fun. That's news with the fast facts. I'm going to have a quick little banner. If you haven't already, smash the like button, the subscribe button. It gets this video out there, and then do it for all the Bitcoin YouTube channels and on X as well. The reason being, it'll get Bitcoin out there. People at the moment, because we've been going sideways for so long and not interested in Bitcoin. People are not really going to come into Bitcoin until it's at $100,000. Which is sad. They could have got it for 40% cheaper if they're paying attention today, if they're chasing the 69 that we have there in the background, if they're working hard, putting in the proof of work to understand. But most people won't. They chase the green candles because it feels easy and everyone's talking about it. But doing what is hard now, everyone will be rewarded. But if you can push the message, the video, share the video, whatever you can do to get the message out there so that people start to undertake the time, the effort. They need to put in 100 hours minimum to sort of get a good grasp. Maybe they start buying it after 3 or 4 or 5 hours of research, but it's not going to happen overnight, and the price is not going to stay down here forever. So be greatly appreciated if you can help. If you are leaving, do something nice for yourself, for somebody else. We will get into a little bit of banter. Retro Beaver is saying shitcoin pushers are not welcome here. 100%. Simon has got rid of him. If you want to invest and be a degen in shitcoins, power to you. It's a mind virus in my belief, and it just depends what you're after. Some people are here to gamble. I'm here just to be able to store value. That's it. It's not rocket science. I don't know if you can hear the dogs running. It is a little bit louder in the garage. McLovin, good to see you this morning. G'day, my fellow Bitcoiners. Retro Beaver, Simon Picala, Lightning Goats in the house. Everyone check out Lightning Goats on YouTube. Absolutely epic. Earthbum Spranza, made it for the live show. Always missing watch the replay. Chairs, mate. Every day is a good day to stack sats. It's attitude. Every day is a great day to be able to stack sat. Harris will lead America much further into dystopian future if she somehow is able to steal the 2024 election. Yeah, I agree. Politicians in general, I wouldn't trust any of them, but we just need to pick the lesser of two evils for sure. McLovin, hit the like button for sure. And if you're gaining value here, greatly appreciate. Just a matter of time. All the world has no choice but to get into Bitcoin and be left behind. Game theory, stay focused, stay strong, and stack sat. That's Simon Picala, 100%. But the more people that hold Bitcoin in self-custody and use it, Bitcoin as a store of value instead of, say, property, as a store of value, which is like huge in Australia. Next 3 houses next to us are empty most of the time during the year. They just sit there as a beautiful place to live. Yeah, like that's number one. But as a store of value, especially in Canada, when we had Seb Bunny on, him talking about it, like 80-90% of the houses just stay empty. Anyway, when people are saving in Bitcoin instead of their houses, it puts more houses onto the market and they're used for their utility. So it's just one way of you holding Bitcoin. You can help other people instead of putting into real estate and leaving it empty when there is a housing crisis. One of the first Bitcoin videos I watched was about the upcoming halving. How fascinating. What a cool time to be able to get in. Simon, 100% only a matter of time, I believe. 100% chance your filthy fiat will hyperinflate and eventually go to zero. Yeah, and even if we don't get hyperinflation, which is the end of fiat, that's just the natural progression. Even if that's a while away, for example, I don't think it's that long away in the scheme of things, but say it is, we're still inflating and they're still trying to target 2 to 3%. You lose extraordinary amounts of value. It's a way that the government can steal off you without people really noticing. They don't notice 2 or 3%. It's a little bit creepy. But here in Australia, 9% year over year, you notice that. It's evil. Fiat is just evil. It's used for good as well. You know, it's a good tool, but overall, it's not good, and it gives these people power over us to control, and we can just opt out. Greetings, everyone. Johnny Midas in the house. E-boot. Step 1, major cyber security attacks. Step 2, the government will protect you. 100%. Create a problem, provide the solution. Over and over again. The World Economic Forum warns us all the time about this. The Sempox, another PSYOP. Cybersecurity attacks, the testing that's been going on, or maybe the coincidences. Let's be fair. Take off the tinfoil hat. Crazy, absolute insanity. Monkeypox too. All of it's a scam. It's designed to give you a digital ID, CBDC, social credit score, control what you eat, where you go, who you see. Step 3, by the way, you'll need to give up all your freedoms for our protection. 100%. I'm nearly right at the end of the book, The Mandibles. I'd highly urge everyone to read it. I read it before, but now I'm listening to it. I probably prefer the audiobook. The voiceover on it, he is so talented, really good, and really brings all the characters to life. Epic story. But either way, if you're looking for a book that's Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, they mentioned Bitcoin once so far in the book, it's a good book. Apparently, she has a unique perception of reality. Yeah, that lady's out of control. Secretary of Commerce. Bitcoin is the world's only true and free open market. Cafe Racer, Bitcoin node, Raspberry Pi 4 and 2 terabyte SSD, install Umbrel, takes 5 weeks to sync. Yeah, here in Australia, it took and that's why I need to really plug it in for the next couple of days. But for me, it took, 5-6 weeks to be able to sync. It took freaking ages. So I'm glad it's not just me, but Simon Picala's got epic saying it took 3 days for him. Maybe you got really fast internet, or it's not the full chain. I don't know. It seems pretty full on. We got into the nodes being real high. Yeah, man. I even sent Sean a pic. Less than half of you have smashed the like button. Don't be lazy and help Sean out by liking and subscribing. Absolute legends. Cafe Racer, not buying it. Who cares if you believe it or not? The important thing is you have a full node. Congratulations. You're def not on a full node. Okay, bud. Fan-fucking-tastic Friday. Cheers for the consistent great info, mate. Zig, it's a bloody pleasure. It truly is. And totally off script, but Bitcoin is really fucking important. Like, really important. The world can be a better place. When you go outside, nature is fucking beautiful. This morning, it was like all fog over there and like real light fog. So as the sun was rising, It was just this beautiful, like Bitcoin orange way to be able to start the day. So the planet is a glorious place, but with all the politics and these evil fucking muppets at the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, the wankers that are in government that are putting out dystopian shit, like all the solar panels, the wind farms, the misinformation in regards to nuclear, all of that comes down to fiat incentives, and we can just opt out. And by opting out and using Bitcoin as a store of value instead of housing as a store of value, the people that aren't on a Bitcoin standard just release a little bit of pressure for them. That's just a simple reason why Bitcoin is so important. But also when you run your own node, you literally become your own bank. Barack Obama called Bitcoin a Swiss bank account in your pocket. Fuck yeah, it is. If you run your own node, if it's air gapped, if you're doing the right things and you're protecting that seed at all costs, whether it's something like that, or, you know, you can get washers from Bunnings, or you can get a seed plate. It's a little bit hard to learn, takes a little bit of time. But then when you eventually get to the mindset where you're just saving your time in Bitcoin and it's a multiplier of time instead of giving your time for fiat, saving in fiat, and they just steal your life force away. It's I'm grateful that everyone's here showing up, putting in the proof of work, especially if you're at a bullshit fiat job and you're learning to stack, to be able to save. You're making the world a better place because it's a glorious world, and we shouldn't be killing each other. We shouldn't be incentivized through fiat money printing to go and fire missiles and rockets at each other. It's just preposterous, and wars will still happen on a Bitcoin standard, but not to the extent that they're happening globally. So thank you for everyone being here. I just love it. Jabba the Hutt. Orstus Gluck, say hi to Willy Wonka. Johnny Midas, he's inflated like fiat currency. Yeah, the problem with fiat, he'd do well, Augustine, to read the Bitcoin books. And he's probably someone that would benefit eating the bugs, but I fucking doubt he will. Those people, they'll push the bugs onto everyone else. So it's literally their plan for you to eat bugs, tone nothing, and be happy. Literally, it's what they said. But he'd benefit from it, but I doubt these people are going to eat it. Bitcoin is going into some headwinds from government interference, my friend. Slate Banner, short term, maybe. If Camille gets in, short term, that may be bad, but really government politics, they can't control it long term. People panic, but I think overall it's going to weigh out very positively for Q4. That's my belief. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong because it means Bitcoin will be cheaper, but I will keep everyone updated as things change, obviously, because it can change on a dime. And if we were to pull back 25%, I wouldn't be worried. If we were to pull back 35 or 40%, yes, the cycle's probably over and we may go much lower. In that case, Cherry Sutton, good to see you. Steve Smith, Bitcoin teaches patience. We've run no man's land, don't give up now. Wealth Ranger, months positive news, dumping the price from 72k to 60k. Imagine real negative news impact. Yes, but there's also been Mt. Gox, the government, Germany, all selling as well. The whales are accumulating. A lot of the miners are accumulating again as well. And they were a big seller. And who knows how much is left OTC, but it is running out. Jamsey announced a big partnership with Arabs. Jamsey is taking flight. Jamsey pump. Payers don't post shit. And it just sounds like absolute gobbledygook. That's the point with shitcoins. They're there to rot your brain. Shitcoin pushers not welcome here. Message deleted. Thank you. Bye-bye. Learn from Celsius and Fix. Never stake your Bitcoin. 100%. Bought a jumper in Bitcoin Lab. Rug pulled myself and forgot the discount lol. My gift of sats to you, Steve Smith. Thanks very much. The Bitcoin Lab .io. We'll be shutting it down next week. So if anyone's interested, it's Bitcoin merch, Satoshi Nakamoto 2024. The hats, I don't have it down here. I should have gone hats and accessories. Anyway, this stealth collection, If anyone's interested, use code GDAY, GDAY, for 15% off. Humble shirt. No, it's not the one. I'm wearing this one. Today, the point of it is to send the signal out there. Yes, it helps support the show, but the show is to get the Bitcoin signal out there. If you can be a walking billboard, people need the touchstones of Bitcoin. Like whatever thing it is that we hear, we need to hear it about 9 times for it to be able to sink in and then for us to be able to take action. The more times people see the Bitcoin brand, hear about Bitcoin, it's all over the news. And that's why I think 100K is when people start to come in. By the time Bitcoin gets to 100K, it's been in the news over and over and over and over again. It's finally sunk down from their subconscious into their conscious mind. And they get it and they're like, oh shit, this is something that I need to pay attention to. Yeah, that Bitcoin thing, I thought it was all over. I thought it was dead. Maybe I need to take another look at it. So if you can help people anywhere, thebitcoinlab.io, use code GDAY for 15% off. But truly appreciate, Steve, I did fulfill that order last night. So thank you very much. G'day. The accountant, the Bitcoin Corporation. The accountant, the Bitcoin Corporation, if you are a Bitcoin accountant, can you reach out to me on X? I'd like to check you out. And then if I can repost you, you may be very helpful for people. I did see a couple of people yesterday asking about Bitcoin accountants there on X, if that's you. McLovin, Knoxville in the house. Bitcoin isn't exactly rocket science, but there are a rocket scientist named Michael Saylor who believes in it. 100%. Thanks, mate. Got the mandibles audible yesterday, catching your live stream from Brizzy today. Good to see you, Soul Surfing. G'day. Been off grid for a week. Best time ever. Chris Bridges, living the dream. All part of the fourth turning. Humanity will be better off for it. Fourth Turning's another fantastic book. Smash the like button. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. It's a small favor you can do for me. And let's just get Bitcoin message out there. Why it's still cheap. $60,599. It's a fucking good deal, in my opinion. It's up to you what you do with that. It's your money. It's your choice. But there's so many people, the whole world's out there living under a fiat monetary regime that's stealing their life away from them in the last 4 years where they doubled the money supply. Nobody voted for that. Nobody, if you've been saving for 10 years, they wipe 5 years of your life out. Fuck that. We need to opt out. We need to push this message. It's most important. People don't need to buy Bitcoin, but they fucking surely need to understand Bitcoin. I'll calm down a little bit, but it's dire, it's important, and it's so cheap right now. And one day, as I was saying yesterday, we're going to wake up, it'll be at 100K. One day, it'll be at 1 million. Is that 10, 20 years down the track, or is it a year down the track? I don't know. Probably less time, slowly than suddenly. It's going to happen quicker than what we thought. People got the opportunity, but they need to put in the time to understand it. So if you can help me on that mission, be greatly appreciated. But go out there, have a beautiful day, stack some sats, get some sand, eat some steak. If you've got a partner, have some sex. If you don't have a partner, maybe unprotected or find a partner. Anyway, have a very, very beautiful day. Well done for being here. It's a glorious time. Bitcoin will make your life better, the world better. I'm so thankful for it. Do something nice for yourself, for somebody else. We'll see you on Monday. Be blessed. Peace.
Everything seemed normal. Successful businesses were functioning as they usually should. Money was being placed in the bank as savings. Life was good. Nobody notices anything funny. But 2008 hits and all hell breaks loose. Everything we thought about money and the banking was a complete lie, a complete sham, a Ponzi, a scam. The whole world fell apart and a lot of people got hurt financially. And as a result of this, the Bitcoin white paper was born. But yet the same mistakes keep happening over and over again. People are leaving money on their institutions up until the last straw, FTX, when billions of dollars were lost, families were decimated, life savings were completely wiped, and people were wondering what on earth just happened. We have an option to take full custody of our funds, and that's Bitcoin. We just have to learn the process. It's not hard. It's just something we've never had to do before. Otherwise, the same mistakes are going to keep repeating themselves, and people are going to continue to get hurt over and over and over until they learn you need to exit the system in order to protect yourselves and your loved ones.